Hello everyone, welcome to Love Wednesday. Philip
Welcome.
and Doreen here.
Yeah.
More like Doreen and Philip, we're here. We're excited about the series we've been doing this month, and this time we bring it to a close. We've been talking about money, finances in marriage, and last week we talked about working together. So today we would like to talk about your spending plan. Now we're getting practical with this.
Yeah, so remember we talked about how day one we talked about how God is the source. We are just stewards. Day two we talked about how we should learn the blueprint. We should be generous. Now, just using all that knowledge, they say that if you don't have a budget, if you don't tell your money where to go, you will wonder where it went. and like it or not, you need to budget.
Yeah, you do.
And that is what being a good steward is all about. One of the first thing you should do when you get money is tithe.
Yeah.
Is when you have your increased tithe. But it's 10% really, bare minimum. So this is a recommended spending plan.
Yeah, it's not set in stone,
It's
but
not set in
just
stone.
bare minimums that you can possibly work
just
with.
bare minimums. Tithing 10%. Offerings, actually what we call giving.
Yeah, giving. Yeah.
Our giving account, bare minimum 5%. Yeah. That includes offertory, giving to the poor, support for parents, 5%. Living expenses, that includes rent, housing, groceries, allowances, school fees, insurance, vacation, repairs, 40 to 60%. And then the remaining 30% really should be savings.
Yeah, creating some kind of financial buffer for yourself. So like we said, this is not cast in stone. So kind of work out a percentage that works for you. You can tweak it here and there. But if you have these different parameters, then you're able to make adjustments. I found that now, like when it comes to things like giving, something that we used to do, sadly we don't do it now, but we are going to get back to it. We had a standard giving percentage. I think we used to do 10%, so it would accumulate. So anytime anything popped up, we always used to dip into that percentage. So it helps you, because you never know when a wedding meeting will be, but if it shows up, you already have your giving.
But also it means that you have to be disciplined.
Yes.
And this works for especially the Sanguines and that other group that can be very extravagant. And there's nothing wrong with that, but just be disciplined, because we've been called to be stewards, so we have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
One of the ways you can, there are so many tips in cutting down your expenses, especially if you see that it is going above, that your expenditure is above your earning. Find a way of reducing your utilities.
You cut down on your utility bill. So find a way, find something.
And there are so many creative ways. If you have DSTV, maybe you can do a lower package or decide to go digital. And
I think ultimately the key is to live within your means. So just find a way, something that works for you. There is no two ways about it. There's nothing that is cast in stone.
It doesn't mean that you switch off your fridge. No.
That fridge thing plays me. I kept telling Philip, I was switching off the fridge in the night. I don't get it, because physics says that the fridges these days are designed to cut off power. Once they reach the optimum temperature, they cut off power and they're quiet the whole night.
But just find something that works. If it's about rent, maybe move to a place that's farther from the city. But of course, I think at the end of the day, just compare. And find a balance so that maybe your transport costs and your housing costs are manageable.
So what we're giving is areas. areas that you can potentially make.
We're not going to tell you
from.
this, but just areas of potential saving: utilities, rent, food
items,
school fees,
mortgages, and then for us the ladies, beauty treatments. Anyway,
I know people who do their own
where
hair.
were you?
I know people who went natural.
Yeah, natural hair is expensive, babe. But basically, find an area and tweak it and see if you can make savings. There are things you can save on, and there are things that you may not be able to necessarily save on. Everyone has their priorities. So what are your priority areas whereby it's a non-negotiable? And then what are the areas where you can make savings as a couple? Find your niche. The thing
and there are certain things we didn't talk about, but buying wholesale, whether it means food, whether it means data, minutes, actually, when you buy it in bulk,
you end up making a saving.
Make savings.
Making a saving.
Why buy 1 GB every day yet you can buy 30 GB for a month at a lower rate?
Yeah.
It's just about being smart in how you do, in how you make your money work for you. Yeah. When it comes to handling our money, we advise open separate accounts to manage your money. Let one be for savings, another one for everyday expenses, another one for investments. Another thing that we also advise: get rid of loans.
Yeah, and as much as possible, get rid of them, because most of the times, by the time you end up paying, you're paying so much. So where you can avoid getting a loan, avoid it as much as possible. Because what I've seen from watching people is that it becomes part of their lives. Once people get used to getting loans, you get a loan for every small thing. It's something I don't have.
And also have a buffer, have an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months. In case you're switching work or you've left your job, like this helps you to maybe to find a new job or to make your to be able to live until your business picks up. Also lifestyle considerations. Certain things you buy that are for sure
to make other people happy, yet they
don't make you happy.
And find a way of living within your means. So now we're going to talk about investments a bit. Like we said, we are not experts in this thing. I'm personally learning about investing. That is something that I think we purpose to do this year. It's something that we learn. I think going back to temperaments, our temperaments are such that it is something that we are very cautious about, because we're both melancholies. I'm a choleric, yes, but for some reason when it comes to money, my melancholy side tends to be stronger. So it's something that I'm very cautious about, but it's also something that I've realized that you need to do. You need to invest because your money needs to find a way of growing. So reasons why you need to save as a couple: one, for your retirement years. There's nothing as sad as being held ransom or at the mercy of people. And if you've worked, I think it's good to prepare for retirement, because you never know when it will come, but you need to be ready for it. Also save to avoid debt, because when you have some savings and have some buffer, like Philip said, when you need the money, you have somewhere, you have a source which you can
and tap also on. When very good deals come,
yes, you have
someone
money
is in need of money and they want to trade off their land or
something
house,
like that,
or there's a business to buy. That is where your savings
exactly they come in. Then also the importance of saving is to anticipate emergencies. You just never know when you will have an emergency. As if you have children, you know, a child can just fall sick, and there's nothing like your child falling sick and you have no money whatsoever, and yet they need to be taken for treatment. So always have that kind of buffer. So when it comes to investments, let's just start with the basics. Start by saving. That's the most important thing. You start by saving. Build the culture of saving, such that there is always money. Have a budget, stick to it. Track your spending. In your spending, distinguish between what are assets and what are liabilities. If you've resolved to save money, have a different account where you save it. Either it's in the bank, or there are people I know who save with unit trusts. Find something, but be consistent about savings. So some tips on accounts: you can have a basic savings account, high yield or money markets. Like I said, that is a unit trust. So find something. that will work for you when it comes to saving. 2, it's important to set long-term monetary goals. Yeah. So now, like if you've given an example, let's say you want your children to have a certain kind of education, and you know how much you need to spend a year. So that then becomes a long-term goal. If you're planning for college for them, then you know, okay, college tuition is probably around this much. So that is something that you can start saving for. If you want to build a house, if you're planning for retirement, those are things that you begin saving for, because they are long-term goals, and it will take time to build that mass. Then when you move from learning how to save, invest. So I think for us, we are at that point. If there's something that is natural to me, it is saving. I've been very good at saving for a long time, but now we are trying to learn, the two of us, how to invest the savings that we've made. And it's not easy, yeah, because a lot of times you don't know what exactly to invest in. And I think when we started our investment journey, there are mistakes. What do they call it? School fees.
School fees.
Hey, we paid school fees along the way. Probably we paid school fees. Yeah? But I think that we needed to pay that fees because they taught us certain things. There are things that we've invested in and completely lost all the money. And I'm not talking losing little money. We're talking millions that have gone. But you learn from that experience, and you've tried something. So next time you do it better. So regularly invest, find something to do, utilize your skills. Each of us has different skills, so you could find that there are skills that you can utilize out of office hours that can bring you some money. So nothing is too small. If you find you have that skill and you can provide the service out of office hours, do it. Buy shares in companies, like we talked about money markets and government securities. You can buy shares, buy land. I think that is the one that Ugandans like doing. You buy, we like buying land, and it's sitting there. If you're into farming, get into farming. You also need to learn about it. Basically, invest in something that you've done some research on. It's not just about investing. Do your research, because if you don't do your research, you'll pay school fees. Learn what you're investing in before you sink your money into it, and then start a business if you can. Start a small business. Income streams are important. You need something that will bring you money on a weekly basis. And as your investments even grow, you end up with a passive income, yeah? Because there'll be a return to the investment, and then that return to investment then becomes a passive income that you can utilize. So what we're trying to say in summary, we've talked about the foundation, the understanding that God owns it all.
Yeah.
That there's a bigger purpose to us having money, but just like He has called us to be a steward, we have to be good with money.
Yeah.
We can't pretend about it. We've let the world control money and give advice on money, yet the principles of finances are locked in the Word of God. So go back to the Word. Ask God to show you what His principles are, what He ordained from the start, and be a good steward. If you're faithful with little, I will stop there. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being with us as we handle this series on finances. But like we said, we've just scratched the surface, really. But there's literature out there for you. If you just do a few searches, you can get ebooks on finances. There are several teachings on finances. Just read, absorb, and act on the things that you are reading.
Yeah, so if you're out there and you haven't given your life to Christ, just say this simple prayer with us. Jesus, thank you for dying for me on the cross. Thank you for loving me. Today I choose to accept you in my life. Take my heart and just control all of me. If you've said that simple prayer, believe knowing that you're a child of God, you're born again, and as He is, so are you in this world, Christ Jesus. Yeah, so thank you, and see you next week.
See you. God bless you. Bye-bye.